Welcome to Dr. P.C. Verma Economics YouTube class. Today we are discussing most important term which is the basis of Keynesian economics used by neo-Keynesian economists deliberately to prove that in the short run, aggregate supply curve of the macroeconomics will be positively sloped. Price inflexibility, price rigidity, sticky prices, these are different terms which are used in macroeconomics nowadays most frequently in establishing, re-establishing Keynesian economics in a new and modern form known as new Keynesian economics. In new Keynesian economics, there is a basic assumption that in new Keynesian economics, flexibility of prices in the economy is rolled out. We all know that classical theory of economics is based upon flexible prices analysis. Neoclassical economics is also based upon flexible prices and flexible factor prices to restore the equilibrium at full employment level. Its background is, say, the law of market. Say the law of market, which was propounded by J.B. Say in 1803, which established, say the law of market. Supply creates its own demand. Supply creates its own demand. It means if the economy shifts downward from the point of equilibrium, from the level of full employment, that will be restored by the play of demand and supply factors, and supply creates its own demand. Whatever is supplied, that will be demanded in the economy, and market will be clear. This market clearing model plays an important role in macroeconomics. If market is clear, there is equilibrium. If there is shift from the equilibrium, it means economy is either facing surpluses or facing shortages. Surpluses or shortages are the real factors. Every economy suddenly in the short run faces shortage of resources, and it is very difficult to remove shortages in the short run. But classical economists thought that the basis of the classical economics equilibrium is long-run analysis. In classical economics, full employment in the long run, it is assumed. The basic assumptions of classical economics, neo-classical economics, and new classical economics basic assumption is full employment. And full employment is restored without state interference through the market forces. And therefore, this was possible only because classical economists thought that flexibility of prices exists in the economy, which restore long-term equilibrium. Therefore, in classical economics, we find that supply curve is vertical line in the long run. Vertical supply curve in the long run. Because they thought that demand and supply will adjust quickly, continuously, and bringing about equilibrium in the economy at full employment level without interference of the government, without interference of the state, without interference of any regulations. This theory of classical economics of price flexibility and automatic attainment of equilibrium in the full employment, equilibrium with full employment in the economy, worked from 1803, here we say Sage Law, to 1929-32 Great Depressions in the USA, when the bubble of automatic adjustment was burst. And state interference was needed, that was established by James Keynes in 1936 in his book, The General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money. This story never ends. Every time there is some additions to the Keynesian economics. There are a group of economists who are great critics of Keynesian theory. The group of economists are known as neoclassical economists and new classical economists. But in new Keynesian economics, price rigidity or a sticky price or inflexible price is considered. It is established on the basis of different models, and we will examine all these models one by one in different classes. Today we are looking forward that in the price rigidity or inflexible prices reflect that in the in the macroeconomy, some prices adjust slowly in response to the market shortages or surpluses. In new Keynesian economics, it is examined that what is the cause of slow response of demand and supply factor, aggregate demand and aggregate supply factor to restore equilibrium. One of the factors is price rigidity or sticky price or inflexible price, which reflect that in the macroeconomy there are several types of prices. prices related to commodity market, product market, prices related to resource market. We all know that resource market is very wide, relating to the cost element, land market, labor market, capital market, entrepreneur and organizations market, dealing with rent, wage, interest and profit. There will be impact upon financial market relating to the interest variations. There is impact on wage labor market related to the wage variations. And more frequently economists have taken either wages or interest, which are a variable character. New Keynesian economist Taylor established a sticky interest rate, constant interest rate. Calhoun model, that is the staggering prices. And in the macroeconomy, out of these different types of prices of commodity market, factor market, financial market, some of the prices adjust slowly in response to the demand, in response to the market shortages or surpluses. Second thing in this analysis is related to prices to be most inflexible. Prices to be the most inflexible in resource market, especially labor markets, and the least most inflexible in resource market, especially labor market, and least flexible in the financial market, with product markets falling between the two. It means we have this is related to resource market and especially wage. This is related to product market, that is price of commodity, price of commodity, and this is financial market, that is interest, so new classical economists have, on the basis of model, different economist model, they come to the conclusion that this stickiness means हिंदी में बोलते हैं चिपचिपा, not frequently, not continuously, that is staggering, uneven, continuous, and therefore it is called inflexibility, rigidity. So in the economy at large, in macroeconomics, when we are discussing macroeconomics, then we have on our disposal production first, then consumption, then the rest. Production requires factors of production in the macroeconomics. Labor market, that is wage. Labor market price is wage. Wage is not flexible. It has tendency to be rigid. There is a fall in demand, aggregate demand. Aggregate demand fall, price level fall. Inflation rate reduced, but wage remains at the old level due to wage rigidity. Wage cannot be reduced sharply. There is many repercussions of it. And therefore, restorations from recession to the equilibrium, from inflationary gap to the equilibrium, real GDP equilibrium. This is difficult to be obtained, and this is due to the wage rigidity in the short run. And therefore, in the short run, aggregate supply curve is positively sloped. Look at the board. Short run aggregate supply curve is upward sloping. That is positively sloping. This positive slope of supply curve shows that higher the price, higher will be the output. Higher the price, higher will be the output. Lower the price, lower will be the output. But there will be wage rigidity, and therefore wage cannot be increased or decreased along with the fall in the price level in the market. So, before proceeding further, what we find out that price rigidity and sticky prices. Why do we read it? Because it prevents resource market from eliminating shortages and surpluses and achieving equilibrium. Classical economists, right from Say's law of market, they thought that if there is shift from the equilibrium, then in the long run, there will be automatic correction of shortages or surpluses, and economy will return to the equilibrium at full employment level production. And therefore, they thought that there is price flexibility, wage flexibility, and in classical model, price flexibility is accepted at macro level. But in new Keynesian economics, or even Keynesian economics and then new Keynesian economics, it is completely ruled out that full employment assumption is not correct. Full employment is to be obtained it is not automatically, it is obtained through the price flexibility, wage flexibility, factor price flexibility, and dealing with the shortages and surpluses and obtaining automatic equilibrium in the economy in the long run. In reality, when it was tested in 1929-32, 160 lakh people were retrenched from the job in the USA. 60 lakh people were retrenched from job in Germany. 30 lakh people were retrenched from job in the UK. Mass unemployment. Fall in the GDP to a lowest possible level. But there was no automatic correction. How to correct economy, that was when tested and found that this automatic correction of the full shortages and surpluses in the economy and attainment of full employment is in fact it was a assumption, not the reality. And when the real problem emerges and economy is shifted downward due to Great Depression, then the economy failed to correct it automatically. And that is why Keynesian economics and thereafter new Keynesian economics discussed this matter in the form of price rigidity, wage rigidity, factor price rigidity, financial market price rigidity, different rigidity. And this rigidity prevent resource market to eliminate shortages and surpluses. That means deflation, inflation, prosperity and depression, the phases of trade cycle. And therefore, it was suggested by new Keynesian economist to take this factor, price rigidity, commodity price rigidity, resource price rigidity, the reality, and this is the reality in the short period, and due to this short-run aggregate supply curve is upward sloping, positively sloping in macroeconomics because of fall in the aggregate demand. At the same time, wage is not reduced. There is no wage cut because there is a contract between owner and the workers. There is a trade union which will come forward. And therefore, in the analysis, this especially labor market is taken example. Everywhere you will see that labor market is taken into as example to illustrate price rigidity through wage rigidity, and therefore positive supply of aggregate demand, aggregate supply curve, short-run aggregate supply curve is positively sloped. This will find out in the diagram that price rises, supply, output rises. Now we will examine how does price rigidity prevent resource markets from eliminating shortages or surpluses and achieving equilibrium. In Now, in new Keynesian economics, it is examined that Keynes was right when he talked about wage rigidity. Keynes, in his book, The General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money, given the wage elasticity, delta W by delta D, D by W. Price elasticity, delta P, delta D, D by P. Employment elasticity, delta N, delta D, D by N. Output elasticity, delta O, delta D, D by O. Wage elasticity, EW, price of commodity, elasticity, EP. Employment elasticity, EE. Output elasticity, EO. D means effective demand. W wage, P price, E employment, O output. According to Keynesian economics, wage elasticity, price elasticity, employment elasticity, output elasticity, all these elasticities taken together work in aggregate demand function and aggregate supply function. When we talk about shortages and surpluses, we had example of Great Depression and falling in employment, falling in aggregate demand, and taking for explanation, take the labor resources. When there is a downturn in the economy, labor resources, take the labor resources first. Wages do not decline even when unemployment rises. This is called wage rigidity. Wage rigidity is very important term which is basis of positive short-run supply, aggregate supply curve. Wages do not decline even when unemployment rises. When aggregate economy is faced with the falling aggregate demand, resource, employment, and real production tend to fall first, bearing the brunt of the reductions, while resource prices, we have taken wage, relatively unchanged. This is main hurdle in the way of automatic attainment of full employment, automatic restoration of full employment from unemployment created during the recession period. This was explained that a state interference is necessary. The concept of laissez-faire economy taken by classical economists, taken by sage law of market, when tested to the time of need during 1929-32 Great Depression, sage law failed. Then Keynes established law of effective demand, rejected sage law of market, supply creates its own demand. Instead, John Keynes said that demand creates its own supply. Demand creates its own supply. If there is no private demand, then government demand. If there is no private investment, government investment, public investment, public expenditure, this will increase the total expenditure in the economy and push up the aggregate demand. What is aggregate demand? Aggregate demand means, in macroeconomics, consumption plus investment plus government expenditure plus net export. So in aggregate demand in macroeconomics is different than the demand in microeconomics. In microeconomics, demand is a function of price, keeping other factors constant. That is individual demand. But when we talk about macroeconomics, then aggregate demand is not the total of demand in microeconomics. No. D1 plus D2 plus D3 total plus Dn is equal to sigma D is equal to microeconomics demand. That is related to one commodity. Here in aggregate demand function, we take into consideration all goods in the economy, all commodities in the economy, all services in the economy, all factors in the economy. And that is reflected through aggregate demand, reflected through consumption, investment, government expenditure, and net export. This is aggregate demand. In macroeconomics, and demand is a function of price. This is microeconomics. Other things remaining the same. So while discussing macroeconomics, we have to keep into our mind that flexibility, inflexibility, these two are more important concepts. Price flexibility is possible in classical model of economics, new classical model of economics, neoclassical economics, they accepted price flexibility. But in new Keynesian economics, it is proved with the help of different models that in the short run, which is reality of life, there will be sticky prices, staggering prices, uneven movement in prices. There is discontinuous change in the prices, and prices to be taken to consideration not only commodity prices, but the prices of all types of resources, human resources, natural resources, marketable at certain price. And in microeconomics, we talk about price that is individual price, price of a mango, price of a bread, price of ice cream, that is microeconomics price. But when we talk about the price in Keynesian model, that is inflation, that is CPI, Consumer Price Index number. Inflation or minus inflation means deflation. That means inflation or deflation is calculated on the basis of index number. We all know at graduation level you read index number, last year index number, past index number, and Fisher's index number. Fisher's index number is considered to be ideal because it is geometric mean of last year's index number and past index number, and therefore it is considered to be best result for the workers, because the workers' wage is tagged with dearness allowance given by the company, by the government. So can say that it is not so simple that we will readjust quickly. There will be difficulty because of these resource prices relatively unchanged, because in the economy aggregate demand related to consumption, investment, government expenditure and net export, that means export minus import, and therefore all these elasticities are related to price. This price is calculated by index number. Most frequently we take CPI, Consumer Price Index number, reflecting the aggregate economy price level. And therefore it is said that it is due to this resource price, taking example of wages, price rigidity plays an important role in slowing down the adjustment of demand and supply and reaching to the point of full employment equilibrium. Now, we will pinpoint labor market, which is more sensitive in capitalistic economy and in socialistic economy. The main difference then in socialistic economy, employment is a right to employment. There is no problem of wage, fixed wage. But in capitalist economy, wage is most important factor. Trade union most important factor. Collective bargaining in wage market is very important factor. So we will see that what are the factors which are leading to price rigidity in the capitalist mixed economy.